That's a very nice GT3 RS, and they're a 993. And good morning, comrades, welcome back to the channel. Also nice GT4. Welcome back to the place you already know, where we are at the Nürburgring, the place where Porsche is currently kicking ass. And that is also going to be the topic of today's video. This is also the reason why I have decided to do a lap in our Cayman 718 GTS, since we're going to be talking about Porsche. Now, this is going to be not the fastest lap I ever did. I'm actually going to try to drive as slow as possible because I think I have quite some topics I would like to talk to you about. First and foremost, a disclaimer. The things that I'm going to say are not there because I think they are right or they are wrong. They're simply a flow of thoughts when it comes to certain aspects that I'll be telling you. Something that I want to provoke a healthy discussion. You don't have to agree, you don't have to disagree, but just I will point out a certain number of things, and I would like to hear your opinion about them. So, hello and choose. As mentioned, Porsche is kicking ass at the Nürburgring. Just think about it. 24 hours of Nürburgring won by Grello. I'm very happy for the team, especially also for Kevin Estre, who was really looking forward to win this race. And year before, in 2020, the whole Porsche decided not to participate because one of the team members was tested positive for COVID. Year before that, in 2019, there was also quite some drama around that. So I'm very happy for him. But also before that, in the qualification race, the Frikadelli Racing, so the also Porsche team, has won the 24-hour qualification race. So for that, I'm very happy for them. Then, moving a bit back, the GT3, the 992, was introduced and released, and sub-7 minute Nürburgring lap time, which was absolutely amazing. Speaking of GT3, now the Touring has been introduced. So what do you think of that? I find the car absolutely gorgeous, absolutely. I would almost say, hey, if I would have the choice, I would maybe buy that over the regular GT3, even though I am living and working at the Nürburgring. I would prefer high downforce, but the car is so sexy. One of the last purest cars, with exception, of course, for California, where the car is not allowed to be registered because the noise regulations, yada yada. So yeah, there is that. But going back to Porsche, going back to the main topic of this video is, of course, Porsche Cayenne, so-called performance model, because at this point we don't know the actual name of the car, has set a Nürburgring lap record among the SUVs with a lap time of 7 minutes and 38 seconds for the full lap. So not the Sport Auto configuration, but a full lap time. 7:38. What does this mean in comparison to the previous competitors? In 2018, we had the Mercedes-AMG GLC 63S 4MATIC Plus, the longest name ever, set a lap time of 7 minutes 54. A year later, in 2019, the Audi RS Q8 managed to do 12 seconds faster, 7 minutes 42. And now, in 2021, the Porsche Cayenne managed to do 7 minutes 38.9 something seconds. Now, some people might say this is not a lot of difference between the RS Q8 and the Cayenne, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're also based on a similar platform. I believe they're also being assembled in exactly the same factory. So related to that, there is not much difference, but even then, 3 seconds is quite a difference. So a record is a record. Now comes, of course, the skeptical question. What about the seats? Because, well, there is a full-blown, I believe that the model name is P1300 bucket seat mounted. There is also a full cage mounted, and Porsche says that cage does not add to the chassis rigidity. It's only there for the safety. I'm not going to comment on that. I don't know how it works. When it comes to bucket seats, I do respect their opinion by saying hey, this is pure for driver safety. Absolutely agree with that. Some people say well, this is not a production spec car then, because you still have a cage. You still have a yellow flag in this case here. And you have a bucket seat. I don't know, probably the factory bucket seats by today's standards offer enough support as much as that seat. The only difference is you have the ears, which will support and help your head, or they will add additional protection for your head in case of an impact. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is just out there when it comes to questions. Now, however, the bigger question when it comes to legality of this record, so to say, is of course Nürburgring is now having the notarized lap records. This means notary comes and checks for the validity of tires, that those are the street legal tires, that the car has a VIN number, that it's not like a full-blown race car chassis. Does it check for anything else? I don't know. The question is here, however, why don't we know the exact model name of the car? Is it still yellow? I guess so. Well, we'll keep on cruising, doesn't matter. We don't know the exact model name of the car because even on the Nürburgring website where the lap records are being classified, it is called the Porsche Cayenne performance model. Also, the PR department of Porsche is using it performance model. Now, this is also performance model. I guess yellow is probably already over, so we can just like continue cruising. Yeah, there is no yellow there, so we can drive a bit faster. Ooh, look at this amazing color on this Cayman. We are going to go here. Now, there have been some rumors that Porsche has patented the name GT5. So some people were expecting a Cayenne GT5, which refers of course to the Porsche 911 GT3, the Cayman GT4, in this case would be Cayenne GT5, would make absolutely sense. It doesn't mean that Porsche will actually use that name, because maybe they just patented it just in case that nobody else would patent it with them. I'm actually driving, yeah, a manual, so let's just like have lower revs so you can listen to me better. It doesn't say anything, it doesn't mean anything. It means that they maybe just like out of prevention they patented it and they're gonna maybe call it Porsche Turbo GT. Someone mentioned it in one of the comments. I don't know, who cares? But why don't we know the exact specification of the car? We don't know the horsepower number, we don't know anything. Sometimes, knowing, based on my experience from working with manufacturers, sometimes this means that the car is not homologated yet. So this is not a final production spec. So on paper the car does not exist yet. But it is there already, because the manufacturer already knows that this is going to be the final car, but on paper it's not registered. So, I don't know. It's just on one thing, I absolutely appreciate this teaser. As much as I appreciate Frank Stefan Walliser at, I believe, somewhere at the beginning of this year or end of last year, having like a sneaky hashtag on his Instagram post, having GT4X, hashtag GT4XX is coming soon this year. This means, of course, referring to Cayman GT4 RS model, which will be unveiled, which I'll get back to that later on. So, a lot to talk, a lot to think about. I think this is absolutely great, and also the time that Lars Kern has achieved is also great. Especially when you take into consideration it was done on a hot day, it was actually last Monday. Another kudos and props to Porsche for publishing this record actually this soon, I would say, only a few days after it. It was done on a hot day. You can also see and hear the tires struggle. It was just like way too hot at a certain point for the car, for the tires. So on a cooler day, the car probably could have gone a bit faster. We will not know. I'm trying to let the GT3 RS pass me. That's why I'm like taking a bit weird line here out of exit. There you go. Fly, little fella. Fly. So it was done on not ideal circumstances for such a heavy car. What else can we say? We don't know the exact specification, but according to the horsepower counter on the onboard system, we see that the car maximum reaches 640 horsepower, which is below 680 horsepower of the e-hybrid model. But of course, e-hybrid is more heavy because of the battery system. You will probably also maybe not have the full battery capacity the whole lap. I don't know, but again, just a flow of thoughts that I wanted to share with you. Now, something else that I wanted to talk to you about is that at the end of the lap, there is a black marker, so to say. There is a black rectangle, and this is, you can see what I'm doing. I just automatically like, oh, let's follow GT3 RS. At the end of the lap, there is a black rectangle that blocks something out. And some people have asked, like, so what is this? What does this mean? What is Porsche trying to hide? I know exactly what it is, based on my experience with attending those lap time records. This is the lap timing board. Now, there are two possible reasons why Porsche is trying to hide that actual board. Reason number one, and it has to do with the fact that on those days, multiple records are being done, because as a matter, it could be 6 digits number, like between 50 and 100,000 euro, depending on the actual time slot, but depending on the extras that you're gonna have, such as media personnel, such as all the extra people. So it makes sense to do multiple things at the same time, so to run multiple cars. So what this means is that actually we have two possible scenarios. Scenario number one, Lars Kern did a previous warm-up lap, and it was shown, that lap time was shown on that particular lap timing board, and it was slower than the actual lap record time, because that board, the lap timing board, is being shown, is being updated manually and not immediately after each record. It's mostly done for marketing purposes, so the people who are attending those records can actually see what has happened. So either the lap time is slower, which is displayed on the board from the previous run, and Porsche decided, you know what, we're not going to show it there because we're going to have otherwise all the conspiracy. Oh wow, I hope you can see the nice knee sliding action with sparks knee down of the biker in front of us. Porsche wanted to avoid the conspiracy thinkers saying like, oh look, the lap timing board is showing a lower number than it actually is on the car. So what does this mean? Did Porsche actually speed up the lap footage, or does moon landing even take place? Do you even believe in a moon? Like, you know, conspiracy thinkers like me regarding lap records might start asking questions. So they probably blurred it out to avoid unnecessary questions. That is scenario number one. But as mentioned previously, it makes sense for a car manufacturer to roll out multiple models. This is something that they like manufacturers are doing, and also Porsche has done it multiple times to bring out multiple models to because you have fixed costs for the truck rental, and if you do multiple things on the same day, you're kind of dividing the costs and the fixed costs, and it makes sense. So what could possibly mean is that they had actually a faster lap time on that lap timing board there. And I don't know that, because although I live here, this is in my backyard, but I was not there at the track. I was just playing with my dog that day. I couldn't care of checking out what was happening on the track. But it could be, again, the GT4 RS. Because again, if we go back to that teaser Instagram post of Frank Stefan Walliser, the car is supposed to be unveiled this year. The car is probably going to be unveiled at the IAA, the International Auto Salon, not in Frankfurt, but in Munich later this year. So probably it's going to be revealed there with the appropriate lap time. This is just my guess. Now, alternatively, as recently announced, the Manthey-Racing parts of every Manthey-Racing parts, including the GT2 RS, are now officially certified by Porsche. So, like, they have the fancy name for it, T-Equipment. Maybe they want to rerun the record again, because we know that the lap time that was set 2018 by now with GT2 RS was not ideal. It was like there were a couple of mistakes because it was already done in the dark, and Lars Kern actually even confirmed it in Christian Gebhardt from Sport Auto. Speaking of lap records, it was confirmed that in an interview with Chris Harris, Lars Kern said you can be certain that Porsche will go out again and do a faster lap time. And it was already set back then, 2018, 2019. So now that the GT2 RS is officially certified by Porsche, the GT2 RS MR is not even an MR, but actually T-Equipment, whatever it is, and they know that the car can go faster, and since that record is now not the fastest production car, but the fastest modified car, because fastest production car belongs to GT Black Series, and now they probably be thinking like, oh, you know what, let's go again, because now it is a production car, because that's not MR anymore. Does it still make sense? Maybe they ran the GT2 RS, not MR, but the equipment car, or a GT4, or maybe a Macan electric one. No, that's a bit too early for that. But again, some thoughts, some food for thought, some speculation. And that's kind of all I wanted to share with you. Some people might say also Nürburgring lap records are absolutely irrelevant. Oh, hi George and Mike. Absolutely irrelevant, absolutely make no sense. Why do you even do it? Why would you do it with SUV? Why would you develop a car on the Nürburgring, an SUV, why would you lap it? No one's gonna do it. You can, as you can see, you can go out and do it. And if it can do a full lap and probably multiple laps, because they're not doing just one lap, they're doing multiple attempts, then this means that the car can survive for many, many laps, or actually many, many hundreds and thousands of kilometers on the public road. And keep in mind that a couple of decades ago, a supercar ownership was a pain in the ass. Just simply as that. Because it was supposed to break down, you could not drive it normally because it was an experience, but nowadays you can actually own it, enjoy it, drive it, and even track it, and will still be in one piece and probably keep your warranty. So, as mentioned, lots of food for thought when it comes to this, as I said, and that's all I want to say. Let me know what you think of it, what your opinion is. Again, congratulations Lars Kern, congratulations Porsche. I'm looking forward to, yes, I love it when parking sensors actually switch off when you actually put it in park, that the car knows, oh, you parked, so you're not going to move, instead of continue beeping like BMW does, at least one of the older models. Congratulations Porsche, congratulations everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing what else is coming from Stuttgart and which other cars will be coming soon. That's also a nice, interesting speculation. What do you think? Lots of questions from me to you and flow of thoughts, but exciting times. Very happy to see also things picking up here at the Nürburgring, that activity is out there again from manufacturers, from everyone. World is coming back alive, and that's, I think, a very nice positive note to finish this video on. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in tomorrow's video when, I don't know what's gonna happen. Something on the Nürburgring probably. Bye bye.